Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask Mr. Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country. Mr. Tobin.
Thank you. Warami, and welcome to the lands of the Wallamedigal. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to thank the University for their acknowledgement of us and for the invitation to welcome you all here today. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated, particularly by our elders. Education is highly valued in Aboriginal culture as well. Knowledge meant survival, and our elders are traditionally accorded great respect for their accumulated wisdom and experience. My family descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and clever man of the Burrabrongal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. As such, he enrolled his daughter, Maria, into the Native Institution, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. She studied there for 7 years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, from which present-day Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here this morning. And with good reason. Your progress progresses us all. Your advancement is our advancement. Now that was perhaps more readily understood in traditional times when camps were smaller and clan groups abided by strict sharing laws, which meant that the food that you caught and brought back got distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all, and your efforts literally nourished the whole community. You in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we get clever about it. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly lived well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a model or a benchmark on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here a little over 200 years ago, he described the people he encountered at Botany Bay as one of the happiest people he had met in the world. They had nothing, he wrote, but the tools that they carried. They were naked, they made shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without tilling it. In traditional times, everyone was accorded rights to the country or clan area where he or she was born into. So there was no homelessness, and no rich and poor either. Everyone had roughly the same amount of gear, what you could carry. There were no armies or jails, no mortgages or rents, and no police. No history of slavery or empire building. People cooperated to collect the resources which were needed, and then they were shared out strictly according to Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained in their natural state, with rivers clean and unpolluted, and people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. Now remember, this is not an ideal, this was normal life. There's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, we've got a lot more work ahead of us to do that, and there's a lot more of us. But we're clever people. So I would say people expect great things from your lives and do great things. And together we work together and get this place, or make a future or a country that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by getting off and letting you good people graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Yana.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce the Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University, Ms. Elizabeth Crouch. Ms. Crouch.
Graduates, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my great privilege as Deputy Chancellor of Macquarie University to preside at this very important ceremony today. I'd firstly like to welcome our occasional speaker, Dr. Peter Bull, who has kindly joined us today. Welcome, Peter. And now to our graduates. Welcome one and all. I hope you have a very happy and memorable day today, and I hope this is a very important occasion for you all. You deserve to take pride, great pride in your achievements and your graduation today. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind. You need determination and perseverance. You need to make many sacrifices. But that hard work has paid off, and I congratulate each and every one of you on your achievements. Today, I also want to especially welcome those of you who are behind our graduates as their invited guests, because you've all done well too. The very fact that you are here, the fact that you've been invited by one of our graduates to share one of the greatest days of their lives is proof positive that you have been an important influence. So, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, cousins, sons and daughters, grandmothers and grandfathers, friends, husbands and wives, partners, boyfriends, girlfriends, babies and little ones, congratulations and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. I have another important service for you to perform for our newest graduates. I want you to make sure that the degrees they receive today are never ever put in the bottom drawer, but are always proudly displayed in a position of prominence. In other words, if our graduates are too self-effacing to proclaim their success, we want you to do it for them. The ceremony that we're about to participate in is one of the world's oldest social rituals. For centuries, graduates have been donning robes just like the ones they're wearing today and participating in ceremonies just like this. Indeed, there are some 50 universities in the world that can trace their history back more than 500 years. Macquarie, by comparison, is relatively young at only 49 years of age. However, in those 49 years, we've come a long way. We now have more than 130,000 Macquarie graduates across 140 countries. We've boosted postgraduate research programs and invested in high-performing academic and teaching staff for the benefit of our students. We are regarded as one of Australia's leading research universities and are currently extending our research as well as our course offerings and facilities. We are a modern and outward-looking university, always trying to engage with the outside world. On your way here today, you may have seen our new Macquarie University Hospital, which is used by students and academics in our School of Advanced Medicine. You may also have seen or used our new library, which provides a 21st century learning and research environment. And our new Advanced Hearing Hub, which opened only this week with much fanfare, which will be a world-leading institute dedicated to advances in hearing, speech and language science. So it's clear we're looking forward and we're on the move. However, some of the things that we value so much about Macquarie will not change. The friendliness of our staff and our students that all our visitors notice and comment upon will continue. The beautiful park-like grounds that make this campus so enjoyable. All these things will stay in your memory and remind you of your links to Macquarie. Links that we hope you will always retain through our alumni network. Remember, you will always be welcome. We want Macquarie to always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge and understanding. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. And in just a few minutes, it will be my very great honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars we proudly call Macquarie University. Thank you.
Deputy Chancellor, I call on Mr. Peter Wise, who is graduating today with a Master of Chiropractic, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Mr. Wise.
Deputy Chancellor, members of the university, graduates and guests, hello. My name is Peter Wise. I'm a Master of Chiropractic graduate from the class of 2012. I'd like to thank the Chiropractic Department for asking me to speak on behalf of my fellow students and colleagues. This is an immense honour. I know that I speak on behalf of us, the class of 2012, when I say that we are proud to be chiropractors. We have the opportunity to help and care for people, to assist patients in overcoming their pain, and to improve the quality of people's lives. This is very rewarding and exciting, and I believe a great way to spend not just a career, but a life. I believe that over the course of studying chiropractic, we all go on a journey, as we invest many hours and years of our lives from the start to the finish. It is this journey and university experience that has helped to define the individuals that you have come here to celebrate today. I was first introduced to chiropractic over a decade ago as a patient. I had an overwhelmingly positive experience and was captivated by the enthusiasm and passion the chiropractor showed towards me. It was this passion and enthusiasm and the ability to help people that inspired me to want to join the profession. Each of our journeys to the school and program have all been unique. For me, out of high school, it was a mixture of excitement and trepidation that I applied to chiropractic schools in Melbourne and Perth. I was very nervous as I was very young and had no friends or family in any of these cities. I didn't have to worry at all, because yes, I got rejected from both straight away. So I went to my backup plan. I stayed in Adelaide, where I completed my health science degree and used it as a stepping stone to becoming a chiropractor. During this time, my effort and enthusiasm was non-existent. I found myself just making up the numbers in the classroom, and this was reflective of my results and what I walked away with in terms of my degree. Once I had completed my bachelor degree, I applied to every chiropractic school in Australia and New Zealand. I was not leaving anything to chance this time. Again, I was rejected by Perth and Melbourne. To my great relief, I got accepted into New Zealand and Macquarie. A few years later, well into my course, I discovered that Macquarie's chiropractic department is one of the best in the world, world-renowned, and their graduates are second to none. I was thrilled to be in the course and had stumbled into this opportunity without even realising. When I arrived in Sydney, I was blown away by the intensity of the program, and I wondered, like many of my classmates, what we'd got ourselves into. We were thrown into a program where we had no choices of class. We were forced to spend over 30 hours a week with the same people, and we were stuck with these people for the next 4 to 5 years. We spent 50% of our time half naked, so it wasn't all bad. The very close-knit nature of the program meant that we had the opportunity to interact with students from many different years and many different teachers. It became clear that what we were learning would be using daily for the rest of our lives, and it also became obvious that we were to become lifelong learners. I know for me this was a big change, and I took this opportunity, and at this point I personally chose to become a student rather than just another number in a classroom. I was not alone. I did notice that my classmates were doing the same as well. It was this environment, along with the special and unique nature of the chiropractic program, that led to fantastic friends being made, healthy academic rivalries created, and lifelong relationships formed. These personal relationships were not just with other students, but staff members as well, as we frequently interacted on a one-to-one level. There are not many other degrees where the close contact between the students and staff leaves you on a first-name basis with everyone, where the teachers know nearly as much as you do them. It was here that we learned that you, our teachers, were not your typical university teachers. You were there giving up your time from private practice to share your experiences so that we could have the skills and knowledge necessary to join the beloved profession. The passion and motivation that you demonstrated towards the profession has a downstream effect on us. You built camaraderie amongst the students as we all worked to achieve the same goals. We felt that you saw us as individuals and not just another number. It was this environment that you created that allowed us to develop our skills and abilities. You all encouraged us to excel and thrive and reminded us that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even though you decided to hammer us with tests, OSCEs, exams, and assignments all at once. On behalf of the chiropractic graduating class of 2012, I'd like to thank all our friends and family here today. Without you, we would have struggled and stressed a lot more over the past few years. Without your bodies to let us practice, poke and prod, and for always saying, that was good, even when it was terrible, we thank you. Again, I'd like to thank all our teachers for their hard work and dedication. If it were not for them, we would not all be here celebrating our graduation today. We are grateful and most appreciative of what you have done for us over the past few years. You have all made a difference. To my classmates, thank you. I believe that we've created an exceptional graduating class. I look forward to seeing you all at the conferences over the many years to come. Lastly, I'd like to finish with a quote from one of our teachers. There are few things in life that we can take anywhere around the world with us, of which it can never be taken away from you: our education. I'm incredibly grateful to the Macquarie Chiropractic Department for mine. Thank you.
Well done, Peter. Thank you for an excellent speech. I'm thinking now I might get you to write some of the marketing material for the courses in future by the sound of that. So please join me again in thanking Peter for that speech. As Deputy Chancellor at Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees and diplomas on those who have complied with the university's requirements for such awards. Now, before we do so, and before I call on our Deputy Registrar to sign off on that, I need to make sure that you've done everything, although some interesting things by the sound of that you've done in your courses, but you've been to every course, you've been to every lecture, you've been to every practical. You're all nodding? Yes? Good, all right. Well, we'll call now on the Deputy Registrar, Jonathan Wiley, to formally certify that you're eligible to get your awards. Jonathan.
Deputy Chancellor, I certify that all the candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
In the name of the Council and by my authority as Deputy Chancellor, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Please join me, everyone, in giving them a round of applause.
Please be seated. Deputy Chancellor, the graduates of this ceremony are from the Faculty of Science. This faculty teaches courses and conducts research about people and our physical environment. It is home to a number of internationally recognised research centres. It has close links with industry and is building firm future partnerships, especially with the range of companies located close by in Macquarie Park. The faculty includes research and study areas in biological sciences, chemistry and biomolecular sciences, chiropractic, computing, earth and planetary sciences, environment and geography, mathematics, physics and astronomy, engineering and statistics. Deputy Chancellor, I now call on Professor Clive Baldock, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Science, to present the graduates. Professor Baldock.
Deputy Chancellor, I present to you the graduates and diplomats from the Faculty of Science whom you have admitted to degrees or awarded diplomas. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Dr. Alan Calamere, for a thesis entitled Intraoral Myofascial Therapy, Education and Self-Care for Chronic Myogenic Temporomandibular Disorder. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Chiropractic. David Abi Araj. Daniel Ayala. Sheridan Barry Cotter. Richard Edmund Brayley. Dylan Brogan. Claudia Cadona. Shannon Benita Casinto. Edwin Chi. Kelly Man Yi Chong. Deanne K. Clark. Lorne Clark. Amelia Louise Coates. James Lee Coates. Travis Charles Cascuna. Adam Dabusi. Charbel Dahu. Zoya Danilchenko. Mihailo Danilovic. Daniel de Jesus. Ellie Marie de Thick. Felicity Alison Eade. Timothy Elcha. Clive Christopher Farrelly. Jana Marie Freschi. James Frost. Laura Rose Cooper Garnett. Sandy Gabriel. Tali Ann Gibson. Michael Richard Glover. Larissa Govinda. Kobe Gregory. Michael James Grieve. Daniel Charles Higgins. Ghassan Hijazi. Jan Holy. Khalil Hussain. Walid Jamal Eddin. Kathy Joan Johansson. Samara Eve Johnson. Mike Kang. Natalie Kapoor. Hoyenson Brian Kim. Gemma Kroon. David Lamb. Jonathan Lance. Daniel Christopher Legaret. Christopher Lewis. Lynn Lee. Jeremy Lim. Xiaofang Lu. Paul Matkovich. Rachel Elizabeth McCoy. Christopher McPhee. Tabitha Claire McVitie. Anna Melbourne. Nicholas Alexander Menzer. Sarah Ann Mayer. Rachel Dorothy Milne. Anthony Stephen Song. Tai Dan Thoi Yuen. Amanda Kate Noland. Suzanne Elizabeth Oglesby. Kristen Louise Page. Angela Raylene Parkinson. Matthew Gary Pope. Michaela Beverly Reed. Mark Wayne Rice. Lisa Allison Rogers. Anna Rozozuk. Daniel Rothenberg. Stephanie Louise Saville. Paul Robert Simmons. Paula Sitchon. Rebecca Fiona Squire. Colby Frederick Stevenson. Andrew John Stott. David Toomey. Bill Sanidis. Alan Van. Nadia Varde. Christopher Williams. Barton James Williamson. Juno Wilson. Peter Robert Wise. I present diplomats awarded the Graduate Diploma of Chiropractic Science. Sayeda Mana Alavion. Andrew Choi. Christine Svarva. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Chiropractic Science. Rebecca Sibian Alexis Arbus. Alyssa Ayubi. Julian Catano. Rhea June Camborne. Shannon Chan Wan Kai. Alon Jonathan Sharif. Peter Collins. Matthew William Cronin. Yahya Dabusi. Todd Michael Daniels. Bijan Etienne Darabi. Louis Valentine Darmizin. James Christopher Dimitrov. Jennifer Doe. Nicholas George Dobson. Marcus Anthony Drivers. Leon Charles Gray. Anthony Ronald Gum. Benjamin James Hancock. Kimberly Eimer. John Raymond Infante. Stuart Robert Jackson, who has been awarded the Vice-Chancellor's Commendation for Academic Excellence. Mohamed Kamu. James Alexander Kerr. John Adam Kime. Ramon Lamb. Daniel Joseph Lee. Charlotte Emma McClure. David Thomas McNaughton. Matthew Stephen Mosgion. Sadiya Nanik. Phyllis Ng. Amy Wang Mai Norman. Lucia Papagiorgio. Adam Anthony Pirelli. Chloe Anna Persick. Jordan Alexander Roberts. Kate Rookie. Yasmin Sabsabi. Amy Bree Sayed. Kim Sang Xiao. Shadi Shafei. Mark Beresford Smith. Stephen Jeffrey Smith. Sarah Somerset. Amy Catherine Joy Steed. Glenn Stevens. Philip Vai Tien Fu Su. Rebecca Sui Tio. Jesse Thurlow. Adrian Lezek Tomiak. Melinda Elizabeth Tracy. David Tran. Giselle Sarah Van Gestel. Sarah Louise Verhoef. Eric Line Wangan. Chi Lap Bosco Wong. Melanie Marie Sabrigas. Veronica Zahorsky. Michael Dylan Willis Zilstra. I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Management. Christine Dominguez Jans. Deputy Chancellor, that completes this afternoon's presentation of the graduates and diplomats from the Faculty of Science.
the great pleasures in presiding at these graduations is not only to see your very lovely smiling faces, but also to hear the wonderful voice of Angela Brewer. Please join me again in thanking her. I would also especially like to thank our musicians, organist Dr. James Forsyth. James. And on the Chinese flute, Mr. Chai Chang. I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and thank the representatives of our alumni community who have come today to help celebrate this important occasion. These are the people behind the scenes who do a lot of work for us and keep everybody where they should be, and they're also the ones who are wearing the Ask Me badges, so they're very important people for us. Please join me in giving them a round of applause. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our occasional speaker, Dr. Peter Bull. Dr. Bull has taught continuously in the field of radiological science for over 25 years. He is a member of the Chiropractors Association of Australia, the Association of Educators in Radiological Sciences USA, the British Institute of Radiology, as well as a member of the editorial board for the Chiropractic Journal of Australia and a director of the Chiropractors Association of Australia. Busy man, Dr. Bull. Peter is also the co-founder and director of Image Connections Australasia, a spin-off company of Macquarie University established to facilitate teleradiological solutions for chiropractors and to develop an electronic database of spinal X-ray images. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Bull.
Deputy Chancellor, distinguished guests and graduates. It's my great pleasure and a source of much personal pride that I'm here to deliver this occasional address. It's all the more significant for me that I'm able to do so to a graduating class that I've had the privilege of being associated with for the last 5 to 7 years, for some of you. It has taken you to get to this occasion today. There was a touch of deja vu. I thought, this is my old class, but then I thought, no, they're too well dressed. There's too many in attendance. And it's not 8 o'clock in the morning. I applaud your efforts in completing this challenging course and on today receiving your Macquarie University degrees. This is the 35th annual graduation ceremony that I've attended. For most of these, I've been seated somewhere at the back. So it's a particular thrill to finally make it to the front row. In August 1989, Macquarie University became the first public university in the world to introduce a graduate program in chiropractic, following the merger of the Sydney College of Chiropractic. The Sydney College of Chiropractic was founded in 1959, and in those first 30 years graduated less than 500 students. In the last 24 years, Macquarie University has graduated over 2,000 chiropractors. It was my great honour to have been the chairman of that Sydney College of Chiropractic at the time of its merger. The many deliberations and negotiations that led up to this major event commenced about 1985, and we felt very much like the father of the bride, with several suitors who we were negotiating a suitable dowry for. There were a number of eligible suitors, in fact, at the time. There were the University of New South Wales, Sydney University, excuse me, Peter drank my water. The University of Wollongong, the University of New England, and of course Macquarie. So why choose Macquarie? Well, apart from the obvious beauty of our campus here, in all our discussions throughout this time, they were all conducted with the Vice-Chancellor, Other universities, with the exception of New England, who also negotiated with their Vice-Chancellor, with no disrespect, we negotiated with pro-Vice-Chancellors and deans and even heads of departments. But Macquarie University had a vision built around our inclusion. And that vision was to establish here at Macquarie more health sciences, including anatomy labs. Chiropractic was the first of many health disciplines to be taught here. I think Professor Yerbury, who signed our agreement in those days, would be well satisfied as she looks around the campus today. When we commenced on this campus in 1990, there were only 61 students in chiropractic. Today there are in excess of 600 in the program. There were no international students. Today we have more than 50 from many different countries, but I particularly point out Norway and Canada. To date, Macquarie University has graduated 81 of the 127 licensed chiropractors in Norway. The double degree in chiropractic is recognised worldwide and is considered to be amongst the best qualification in chiropractic in the world. Graduates are accepted by all 96 countries in the world with formal recognition of chiropractic. The double degree program you've just completed also is a best practice model for chiropractic education and has been adopted by institutions in many countries. Since 1990, there are now 3 other programs being taught in Australia at public universities, at the RMIT University in Melbourne, Murdoch University in Perth, and most recently the Central Queensland University. Macquarie University staff have served as advisors and auditors of these programs, as well as several overseas programs. Other international public universities now that have followed Macquarie University's model include the University of Bournemouth in England, the University of Glamorgan in Wales, the University of Southern Denmark, Durban University of Technology and the University of Johannesburg in South Africa, the University of Quebec in Canada, the International Medical University in Malaysia, the Rio Centro University in Spain, the Anhembi Morumbi University and Fival Central University in Brazil, the University of Zurich in Switzerland, the Hansio University in South Korea, and the University of Estadal del Valle in Mexico. Despite all these developments, Macquarie University's course is still the oldest, the biggest, and the best. And you can be justifiably proud of your degrees. So, we know you've had the best training available in the world, so what's next for you? Well, you will become part of a 100,000 strong chiropractic family, formerly practiced in those 96 different countries worldwide. Chiropractic is a very young profession, established less than 120 years ago, but it is the fastest growing health profession in terms of patient utilisation. When I commenced practice in the 1970s, there was no public or private health insurance cover for chiropractic treatment. And I recall one day that even the Australian Tax Department or Taxation Office contacted the Chiropractic Association and requested information regarding typical incomes and those deductible items suitable for chiropractic. We didn't tell them, of course. Today, all private health insurance companies provide rebates for the cost of chiropractic treatment. There is some limited Medicare cover, while chiropractic is also included for workers' compensation, third-party motor accidents, and for war veterans and widows under the Department of Veteran Affairs. Our patients seeking inclusion and choices in their health care have been the main driving force in the growth of the profession over the last 40 years. The profession was too small numerically to have any significant influence on the various government authorities, but with constant lobbying for and on behalf of by our patients, I should say, I've lost my place. Such lobbying initially led to a government inquiry into chiropractic and several other complementary therapies. This inquiry was established in the early 1970s under the chair of Emeritus Professor Edwin Webb, a former Vice-Chancellor of Macquarie University. The findings of this committee of inquiry, the Webb report, recommended the inclusion of chiropractic care into the main healthcare system. Formal licensing then followed in 1978, and following the recommendations of the New South Wales Higher Education Board, the environment was right for a university program in chiropractic. It was coincidental, but certainly prophetic, that Professor Webb chaired this committee of inquiry, and then 15 years later the world's first program commenced at Macquarie University. Professor Webb remained active in the affairs of the chiropractic profession, serving on the Council for Chiropractic Education until his death several years ago. In Australia, there are approximately 4,500 chiropractors to care for the musculoskeletal health of 23 million Australians. That is a practitioner to patient ratio of 1 to 5,100. Just for interest and by comparison, medical practitioners have a 1 to 265 practitioner-patient ratio, while dentists have a 1 to 2,100. Today in Australia, chiropractic care is utilised by only 13% of the population. Some of the reasons for this low utilisation may include only limited access to public health funding through Medicare, low referral rates from GPs still, and perhaps the small number of chiropractors and perhaps a bit of lack of patient awareness. There's some challenges for you. But patient utilisation continues to grow as indicated by numerous government and private surveys. We appear to be growing our own demand. As new chiropractors enter the workforce, the patient numbers of existing chiropractors do not dip. We still do not have full access to the public health system of hospitals and community health centres, but there are small inroads being made here. It is vital that as new chiropractors, you don't forget the reason you exist. That is to provide patient care. Always remain patient-centred. Do not provide care that does not have an appropriate hierarchy of evidence, of efficacy and safety, nor promote ideas or advice that are not founded in accepted evidence or opinion. Becoming part of the healthcare system brings with it new responsibilities of appropriate behaviour and professional conduct. Your education and clinical training has prepared you well for this new professional life. Do not disappoint yourselves, your peers or your patients by straying from your training. One of the great pleasures I've had in being involved in the chiropractic education for the past 40 years is watching the metamorphosis that occurs from new undergraduate students to internship and then into the professional colleagues you've become today. Today, I'm sure, is it's a day of great pride, not only for each of you, your families, your loved ones, your friends, but also to your teachers here on the stage. I congratulate everyone involved in reaching this goal, and I wish you every success for your future. Thank you.
Well, clearly I don't need to thank you again, Peter. You've made a big hit, I think. So please join me once again. And thank you, Peter, for this great event. Graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with us. For the rest of your lives, you are part of the larger Macquarie family, our alumni body, and part of a network of more than 130,000 Macquarie graduates across the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office and hope you will come back here to attend alumni functions, to undertake more study, as I know many of you are, and simply to visit this beautiful campus. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry, and to set ambitious goals for yourselves, and to continue the hard work that has already brought you so far. I challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned not only for your own benefit, but for the betterment of the whole community. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. I hope that you will also always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom are here with you today. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. First of all, I'd like all our new graduates to please stand up. Now, I'd like you to place your degrees on the seats behind you. I want you to turn around, face your family and friends, and give them a big round of applause. Now you can turn around now, but I don't want you to sit down yet. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic staff, many of whom have supported you throughout your journey. Please join me in also thanking them. Stay standing. The official party will soon leave the courtyard, followed by our graduates. Guests, if I could ask you to please stand and remain standing until the last of our graduates has processed out, and please join us in the University Court for light refreshments. Now, I'd like to wish you all the very best for your futures, and I'll conclude with the words of an old Irish blessing. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hands. Thank you.